So many buttons to push. I apologize. I'm still learning some of this, but so happy to be able to give you a great update on Wednesday's Child. When the kids are adopted, we know that it is a very private affair, and this is something that a lot of families take several months, and it's a lot of visits from state officials and counselors and therapists and so forth. And we know that that's a special moment between the new parents and the child. And every now and then I put out the word and say, hey, if there's any family that wants to follow up with me with Wednesday's Child, maybe we could do a follow-up story, because those stories are something that I call a place to call home. And that's when children from Wednesday's Child are successfully adopted into a family. Well, I am happy to report that there have been 30 adoptions in the state of Indiana, kids that have been adopted, kids that were featured in Wednesday's Child that are now successfully adopted by new families. Now, did Wednesday's Child, was that a direct result? In many cases it is. A lot of families are watching our videos and helping them make that connection with the kid, and giving them an incentive, giving them an idea like, hey, this would make a good fit for our family. So that is what we're hoping we can achieve with these Wednesday's Child stories. Again, 30 kids have now been adopted. We've been doing this program for 4 years, an Indiana adoption program. I reached out to Erin with that agency, and she was happy to give me that update. She said another 11 children have been placed with families. So that number of 30 could actually be up to 41, maybe by the end of the year. We don't know. It's something we think about and we follow up on. So I do want to talk about our story for tonight, because we have some really cool things coming up tonight. I am so thrilled to tell you the story of the Henneke family. The Henneke family, they're probably watching right now on maybe Facebook this morning, or maybe our website. You know, we are streaming across all our platforms right now. But I want to show you these videos of the Henneke family. This is Amy and Kevin. They've been married 10 years. Amy Webb Henneke has children from a previous relationship. She has 2 older sons. You can see them here. And her daughter, Mia, was adopted from Ukraine. She too is all grown up, and these kids are all out of the house. So this family, Kevin and Amy, yep, they were empty nesters. And that's when they thought, hey, maybe, just maybe, we could help a foster kid and maybe adopt from foster care. So that's when they made a very conscious decision. Take a listen.
It was just always in the back of my head. I don't know, you see it everywhere, on TV and billboards, you know, and signs on the road, foster parents needed an adoption, and all these kids out there. And so it's just always kind of been something I wanted to do.
Okay, so you just heard from Amy Henneke. Do you remember Seth? He was a kid that was featured in Grant Me Hope. Grant Me Hope did several stories in Indiana. They also focused primarily in Michigan. There's a kid named Daniel that we featured just last year on Wednesday's Child. Here he is playing at the Kroc Center. We got to play some video games with him and everything. So Seth was adopted first by this family from foster care, and then Danny was brought in. He changed his name to Danny, by the way. That's why I keep referring to him as Danny. But yeah, our thanks to our partners with Grant Me Hope, because there for a while they were doing some of the stories in Indiana that we weren't able to feature. And in Michigan, that's how Michigan tells the story of their foster youth available for foster care. So we are telling these stories tonight of Seth and Danny. Both boys have special needs, and the mom and dad, Amy and Kevin, want you to know that don't be afraid if your heart is set on adopting kids with special needs. There is help. You are not alone. And there are programs available and services available that you can tap into. Both boys receive help, and it's really made tremendous progress with both boys. The goal is for both of them to hopefully lead independent lives someday. Where that lands and how that looks, they don't know. They're taking it day by day, and I think that just says a lot about their spirit, who they are as a couple. Again, Amy and Kevin have been married for 10 years. Amy Webb Henneke had 3 what are now grown children, and then the house seemed a little bit empty. So you're going to hear from Kevin in the story tonight, talking about that. So he's a busy dad now, and she is a busy mom. And this family, they like to travel, and the kids participate in the Special Olympics, and that's something very special to this family. St. Joseph County Special Olympics. I believe it was Mia who was first participating in that, and then Seth got involved with it as well. So hopefully Danny's going to get involved in it. And so these kids are doing the best that they can, and it's because Amy and Kevin are invested in their future and caring for them. You're going to hear tonight from Amy and Kevin about that decision that God put on their hearts to maybe, reach out, help foster kids in need. They just felt like they weren't doing enough, they said. So you're going to hear from them. Also, you're going to hear about how those services came into play. That first it was DCS, and then there's a program called BEADS, and that is helping with kids with disabilities, and how those services kind of help now and how you can tap into that after adoption. So she's going to be sharing a little bit more about that tonight. So we hope you'll tune in. I enjoyed meeting the family. They're right here in New Carlisle. They did watch our stories, and you're going to hear why she felt and he felt that our stories make a difference. We've been doing this program for 4 years, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, we now have 30 children who were featured in Wednesday's Child Stories, now adopted in the state of Indiana. And I just feel like throwing a party, a little birthday party, a gotcha day maybe for all of those kids that have been adopted, because it has been a labor of love for me, our staff here at WNDU. Caleb Steensma is the editor, photographer and editor for this piece tonight. And he goes with me to the Kroc Center, and we play a lot of video games and get a lot of arts and crafts going. And it is a lot of work that goes into these stories, helping, tell the stories so that these kids are more than just a number and a summary in a file somewhere. This way the kids can show more of what they like about their lives and what they want to be when they grow up, what their interests are, their favorite foods, their favorite color, their favorite subject in school. When we talk to these kids in Wednesday's Child, that's what we're trying to do, help these kids connect with a family that watches their video. Then the state offices in Michigan and in Indiana will take it a step further, and then they will vet out parents and hopefully help connect the parents to the children. So if you're wondering how that process works, because there are a lot of strange people in the world, and as you know, that is a concern, that some people are maybe not have the best interests at heart for the kids, or maybe they have some sick notion of what they can do if they are able to meet a child. This is very carefully vetted, and these kids are very protected through DCS with these videos and how you're able to connect with the child. You have to go through a lot of parenting and foster programming in order to become foster parent certified, and then you're able to maybe connect and match with a child. It is a process, and that's why it takes several months. I know when we first started this program, Wednesday's Child, I was really kind of sad that I didn't hear anything from the state office. And then it finally dawned on me, and I got to talk to the director and some of the folks that said, you have to give it time. because even after a child is placed with a family, they're going to make sure it's a match. And then you can maybe talk with the family after an adoption is complete. So we're thrilled. 30, that's a great number. And again, the Henneke story, they live in New Carlisle. They have 3 adult children, and it's a blended family. 3 adult children that are out of the house, and now these 2 teenage boys. And they get along. You're going to hear about what it's like to have a brother and to really know that that brother is there for you, growing up with you in your home. So you're going to hear from these boys tonight. Again, it's a place to call home, and it runs tonight just before 6. We hope you'll tune in to WNDU tonight. And, of course, you can always check out our stories. Wednesday's Child, you'll find them on our website, WNDU.com. Thanks for joining us today.